All right, welcome to class. As you do, please just unmute your mic and say something. Let's start.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Your voice is kind of low. Well, hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
Okay,
It's
so
probably the network,
let's
yeah.
get started. Oh, okay. So let's get started. So I guess you were in my previous class, the one we did it before yesterday. When we talked about JavaScript
Yeah, I
and so
was.
on.
I was around.
Okay, that's
I
nice.
was
That's
around
nice.
yesterday.
Okay, so what will happen now? Let me just start recording and start sharing my screen. No, the class is being recorded, but I just want to, record it locally just in case. Then I will share my screen. Just give me 2 minutes or 2 seconds.
Can you can you go on Slack to like inform them? My network is poor, so I'm not able to open Slack.
Yeah, I've gone to Slack,
Okay.
but I've gone to Slack. I've dropped the text there. So no. I've dropped the text there, and uh Mr. She said I should continue. He said some will join later, so on and so forth. Seems like by afternoon people are really not always online. Now maybe some are at
Maybe
work.
maybe maybe they were not like they didn't get the heads up about starting the framework side things now.
Okay. I will talk to Mr. Shea about it. So no problem. Let's just continue. By the way, they will watch the recording of this class later. So let me just record my screen and get started. So all right. So let's get started. Remember that day I said I was going to be creating a PowerPoint slide, which I've done that. I'm going to be going along with the slides and as well. Let me share my screen. I believe you can see my screen now. Hello. I believe you can see my screen. Are you here?
I can see you started sharing. Sorry,
Okay,
my
okay,
mic was
okay.
muted.
Okay. So let me continue. Now, like we said, Vue.js is a JavaScript framework that's comparable to other frameworks like React.js and AngularJS. Okay. So when it comes to JavaScript framework, like I said, there are a lot of them, but the three most popular are React, Angular, and Vue. With React being the most popular, I really don't know, but I think React is the most popular. And if you look towards the learning curve, you notice that a lot of people tend to go for React because of the it's easy to get a job on React. Though it's also easy to get a job on Vue. In fact, there are, let me see, about two cases where I'm applying for a backend role. They will be asking me if I know how to do Vue.js. I will say no, I'm a React developer. They will say no need for the job. So that's why I had to even pick up Vue as a course just in case, yeah. But it's not difficult. It's similar to React and every other stuff. So, and again, React is lightweight. When I say lightweight, like it's not complex. Sorry, Vue.js is lightweight. It's not complex when you compare with React and Angular. And again, Vue is kind of, it doesn't have a particular owner like React and Angular. For React, the owner of React is Facebook. You get Facebook owns and maintains React. Then for Angular, I think Google. But Vue is kind of free, kind of. Though there's a huge community support, there are those dedicated to improving the framework and so on and so forth. But let's just look at the slide. So I believe you can see my slide. Let me make it big. So this first slide is saying what is Vue.js, right? So let's just jump in. So we're going to be making use of this slide and W3 school. W3 school make it faster. Then I don't know, as time goes on, I might share a YouTube link for you guys if I'm able to, record the class. Like when I say record the class, I'll take my time to make a record and create a YouTube video. That's if I'm chance, but if I'm not, I will also share other resources for you guys. So what is Vue.js? Vue.js is a JavaScript framework for building user interface. and we say user interface. We can also use vanilla JavaScript to do that. So when we're talking about using a framework, now we're talking about dynamicity. As you see, a user interface that's dynamic, changes easily, and so on and so forth. Now, I said, is one of the most popular JavaScript framework. The other being React and AngularJS, like I said. Now, let's go to the next slide. Now, what are the advantages of using Vue.js? The advantages is that number one, it is simple and approachable. Now, Vue.js has what they call CDN. Like if I want to work on a Vue.js project, I can just take the CDN and implement it on part of a project. Again, so please take note of that. Then it is simple as well. Like I said, it's simple. You just see your what's it called? A template has the template tag, which is the HTML part of it, the CSS part of it, and the JavaScript part of it. So as we go further, we tend to see it. Then also it does reactive data binding. You know what data binding is? Like when I'm trying to I don't okay, you've not used something like React. Data binding, if I want to bind let me say a form input to the browser or something like that. So we said Vue has a reactive data binding. As we go further, you see what that means properly. And also it has a two-way data binding. Two-way data binding is what I want to use. When we say two-way data binding, unlike React, if you are doing something like React, if you are creating a form input and so on and so forth, React does one way data binding. There's something you need to do first before it will change. But for something like Vue, you don't need to do anything. That's why we say it sometimes. That's why sometimes I say it has a two-way data binding. Then also it has a component-based architecture. When we say component-based, I can separate my project into different components and use them. Reusability. That's one of the advantages of using a framework. Let me say I create a button, for instance. I can use a single button for the whole of my application. All I need to do is just to pass prop from one component to another. So take note. Then also it has flexibility and incremental adoption. When we say flexibility, like I said before, I can use Vue.js in a project that has no Vue.js. Let me say I'm working with vanilla JavaScript and I want Vue to handle some reactive features of the website. I can implement Vue. So please take note of that. Then also it has a high performance optimization. That's to say it's fast. Then it also has official ecosystem and community support. Like I said, it's not owned by a particular organization, just like the way React is owned by Facebook and Angular is owned by Google. Vue doesn't have something like that, but as like I said, it has a huge community support, and also it is versatile. So that's for that. Now, let me tell you something. If you I'm coming, I want to explain something. When we say flexibility and incremental adoption, remember I said something over there. I said in a project that is not a Vue.js project, I can implement Vue on it. Now, let me just give you a scenario of what happened between React and Facebook and how React came into existence. Now, initially, React was built for the feed. Initially, React was built for the feed component or the feed part of Facebook. When we say the feed part, you notice that um, Facebook initially was like a traditional website built with PHP, such that if I want to go to any page, when I click on it, it will reload the whole page. Then, if I want to do something like it will reload the whole page, like if there's a network problem and so on and so forth, so things like that. Then now, see what happened. They notice that if I want to like a post on Facebook, I'm still sending a request to the server. Remember, I said something about this. Each time I click on the link or do anything, I'm sending a request to the server, which will reload the whole page. So what Facebook did was that they said, okay, we want to do something that whenever I want to like a post, I don't need to reload the whole of the page. You get, I just need to react to the post. Then only that part of the website will reload itself. You get, so it will be very fast and things like that. That's how React came into existence. And as time goes on, they started implementing things like okay, it should handle a full website and all of those stuff. So the same thing also happens with Vue. I don't know if you get my point. So Vue, like I said, that is used to create single page applications whereby I just need to make an initial request to the server. Then after that, the view routing will take care of every other thing. So let's see what we have today. Let's see what we have today. So let me go back to the slide. So that's for that, for the advantage of using VJS. Then how do we set up VJS? Now for today, we're going to be looking at the CDN setup. So we'll just dive right into the class, and maybe from tomorrow we'll go over to using the Vue CLI. So what will happen today is that we'll make use of the CDN. We'll learn about the basics and the directives and so on and so forth. You get. Then tomorrow we'll also do something so that I can give an assignment on I can give an assignment based on this. Then by next week we'll make use of the Vue CLI, whereby we'll be creating a whole project using Vue, like just with the way we have something like create React app or create Vite app, something like that. So we also have it in Vue. So that's what we're going to be using. Then we'll do all of the routing and all of those stuff. But for today and tomorrow's class, we'll learn the basics, just how to implement Vue using the CDN and writing everything from scratch. So that's what we'll be doing. So like I said, there are different steps. The first method is by using a VueJS CDN. Then the second method is by setting up a Vue.js CLI, or rather using a Vue.js CLI. So please take note of that. Take note of that. Now let's go over to W2 school. Let's just go through something over there. So by the way, I created my slides from W2 school. So W2 school and other resources. So you notice that most of the things are similar. Now, if you look at this introduction, sorry, okay, introduction. So when you read and read, simple to implement. So they also talk about the different ways of using Vue. We have the options API and the composition API. But I think the options API is kind of easier, and that's what they use in this tutorial. So like I said, you guys should go along with this guy. Then the next step is using VueJS directives. So I think we've come to the part where we start writing some code. So now let's start. Now, if I want to implement Vue, right? If I want to implement Vue by using the CDN, all I need to do, remember this was what we used that day for that class, the class we had that day. I was trying to do something else again today. So I think I will need to create another I need to create another folder. Zuri Vue class, Zuri Vue class, Zuri Vue class. Should I create another one? Okay, what will happen? I will make use of the same folder. There's no point in creating a new one, right? I'll make use of this one. All I need to do is just to comment everything so that we can have a good start. I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me comment everything. Jesus Christ. Okay, just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to comment this so that there's no need of creating a new one, right? And also, I'll be pushing our codes to GitHub, so there's a way I will set it up later on so that you guys can have access to everything we're doing. Now, so let's get started. So, like I said, we'll make use of the CDN, right? So you can go to the official VueJS website. Sorry, you can go to the official VueJS website and get the CDN, but we can also get it from the W2 school. Since I'm here already, I'll just get the CDN from this place. So can you see? So this is me copying the CDN, then I'll go back to my VS code. Now my VS code, I'll go back to my index.html. Now let's assume that this is a blank HTML file. Nothing is written inside of it. So what I need to do is to set up my boilerplate. I guess you guys know this already. Then I'll write h1. I'll say Zuri Vue.js class, right? Don't worry, the class is going to be very, very interesting. You guys should don't worry. So that's what I will do. Then I'll put in my script tag. Sorry. I'm putting my script tag, script source, and I'll put in the link. I made a mistake. So this is what I will get, right? So this is it. So now Vue.js is here already. Vue.js is already running, but how do I connect to it? How do I connect to it? So I need to go back to my script.js file, right? And I'll start writing some code. Now, if you look at this, this is just an empty HTML file. Is that not so? This is just an empty HTML file that has a script tag in it or on it. And this script tag is carrying a CDN. So there's no relation between this and Vue. There's no relationship. So how do we add relationship? Remember, this script is seen as something that's online. You get, I also need my own JavaScript to connect to it over here. So all I need to do is to bring a script tag, right? Then I will link this my JavaScript file, which is script.js. I guess we are following. So I'll link this script.js to it. Then all I need to do now is to go back to my script.js, right? Now let me check if this script is connected. So let me test with an alert. I'll say alert hello view. So by the time I save and go back to my browser, I'm sorry. Seems like I've closed it. I'm coming. Let me go back to the local host 5500 5500. So can you see what I'm having? Hello VJS. So this is it. So I'm having this hello VJS. So I think there's a tag I didn't close properly over here. So let me just check. Um, where's this thing coming from? Okay, never mind. Just leave that aside. Yeah, just leave it aside. So by the time I reload again, it's what I'm getting. Hello VJS class. So how do we know that VJS is connected now? So let's do that. So if I come back, hmm, this is just my empty HTML. So if I want to connect views to go back to this place, or rather inside of this place, I'll give an ID or I'll create a div, right? Then I'll give it an ID of app or anything of my choice. So I'll call this guy, put it over here, right? So I have a div with an ID of app. Now if I come to my script, how do I create the connection? So first of all, I can say const app equal to view dot create app, right? Then inside of this video create app, I can do other things over here, but let me just leave it that way first. Then the next thing I will do, I can do something like app dot mount. This app dot mount is what is now connecting. If you look, I have an ID of what's it called? I have an ID, a div with an ID of app, right? So how do I now mount this to this? If I do something like this, hash app. So please take note. So as you
Hello,
see,
hello, you are rushing. What's your mount?
I'm coming. Uh, wait, I'm coming. Let me come back. So, do you have a question? If you have a question, please ask.
I
Am
have
I
a
too
question.
fast?
I say, what's the name of mount? And you are too fast. What's the name of mount?
Okay, I'm too fast. Okay, sorry. Now, let me tell you something. You see, when I was teaching, I was saying something like, "Are you following? Are you following?" I was not
Yes,
getting
yes,
any
I'm
feedback.
following.
Okay, see what will happen. If you notice I'm too fast, just call my attention. You get because I can't see this screen. I don't know if you get my point. This call screen, I can't see
Okay,
it.
okay.
Okay, so please. Okay, let me go back again. Let me go over it again. Now, if you look at what we're having, this is an empty HTML file. Like so, sorry, this is just an ordinary HTML file. Hope you guys are following.
Yes, yes, you are following.
Okay, good. Now, if you notice in this HTML file, we have the normal usual stuff, doctor.html and every other thing, right? Then now I'm creating a div with an ID of app. Is that not so? A div with an ID of app. Now I want to run Vue.js inside of this HTML file. Now I need a connecting point. You get such that I can inject Vue.js code inside of this thing. Are you following? That's why I have a div with an ID of app. You get? Then now, after doing this, what do I need to do? Remember, I said the CDN is like a JavaScript file that is online. You get? I also need my local JavaScript to connect with that CDN. Is that not so? Now, what am I doing? This is just me setting a variable. You know how to set a variable now by doing something like this. Const variable name. So now what do I want to use as my variable name? I want to use app as the name of the variable. Are you following? I want this to be equal to view, right? Which is the framework I'm using. Dot create app. So this is a method. You get? Remember in JavaScript we were told that method are function. Is that not so? So this is a method used in connecting view to this. Now I've done this already. You get? I will go back to that place again. But now this is just a variable name, like I said. Is that not so? But how do I now link this to my HTML such that it will be receiving, should I say receiving signals from the online Vue.js file? That's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm doing something like app.mount. Is a method, is an inbuilt method, you get? So what am I mounting? I'm mounting this div whose ID is app. If you remember, the trademark of ID is hash symbol. That's why I that's why on this place I'm doing something like this hash app. Now what is this app representing? This app is representing this ID of app. Remember the trademark for IDs is hash. And also for classes it is period. Now since this is an ID, that's why I'm using an I'm using an ID trademark which is hash. Are we following? So please, this is the connection. The connection has been done. So are we following? Please, if you are following, say something. I don't think she's here. Are we following? Please say something. The person that has the question is not even here. Please, if you are following, say something so that we'll know if I'll continue or not. She's not here. Okay, I guess we are following. So let me continue. So the next thing to do, right? To see if VJS is really working. Now, this method has different things I can use in it. There are other methods I can use in it. Now, the first method is called data. Now, what is this data? Now, this data is any information, or this data consists of information that I can pass so that I can cache them inside of that index.html. Again, so I think for this, I'll do something like this. Remember, data is a function. Then I'll do something like this. Now, let me give a property of title, and let me call this title Vue.js course. Let me do something like this. Please, are you following?
Yes, you are following.
Okay. Okay. So let me do something like this. Then if I go back now, if you notice, I gave a method inside of this method called data, right? Then I give a property called title. Now, let me just see something. Did you guys did object-oriented programming (OOP) during your JavaScript class? Do you guys do OOP?
We've not done it.
Man, no vex speak pidgin. You guys did not do OOP.
Oh, we have done it. Maybe I did not attend the class.
Okay. Let me tell you something. OOP is object-oriented programming. Now, what I'm doing is just OOP. Now, what is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming, I don't even know the definition to give, but it's a way of creating objects in such a way that I don't need to create multiple objects. It's just to create a class, then I will inherit from that class to create multiple objects. You get? So that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Something similar to that. If you don't know OP, it will be easier. Now, I gave an attribute of title now, right? Now, what I can do is this, or if I let me not even give title, let me do something. I can give a template property. I can give a template property. Inside of this template, I can do something like this. Hello. I can do something like h1. I'll say hello world, right? I can do something like this. So if I save, no, this is not supposed to be inside. Okay, this is supposed to be outside. So let me just comment this data. And watch what will happen. If I do this, and I come back to my browser, watch what will happen. If I reload this, VJS course, constant view.create app, view.create app. Is my create app correct? View.create app. Come in. Let me see. Yes, view.create app. Oh, I think this is coming because I did I'm sorry, we are correct. I think that's coming because I did this thing. So let's just go with this flow. I'll come back to that. Let's just go with this one. So I'm having a data attribute. Sorry, I'm having a data method here, right? And I'm giving a title. Now please take note. Every function is supposed to have a return. No wonder this color is kind of dark. Every function is supposed to have a return. So I'm supposed to do something like return, right? Then inside of my return statement, I'll put what I'm returning. Um, return. Okay, so inside of my statement, let me return a title. Let me say hello view. Now, if you look at this thing, I just succeeded in creating a view method, then rendering a data method inside the field, and I'm returning hello view. Now, if I come back to this place, there's something I can do. This thing now is already seeing this as a, how will I put it, a VJS data attribute and so on and so forth. Now, if I want to get that, I can simply come back here and do something like double curly bracket. I will say title. Now, if I do this, let's see what we'll get. If I do this, let's see what we'll get. Now, inside of my document, if I reload, okay, I'm getting title. I'm not supposed to get this title like this. Am I making a mistake? I'm coming. Let me check my script file again. Data return this Vue.create app. This is supposed to be capital letter. Once app, we go to Vue.create app. App.mount. Okay. I'm coming. Let me just return app.mount. Vue.create app. Const app Vue.create app. Data return message app.mount app. Uh, Const app Vue.create app. Data return title. Title. Why is it not rendering? Or is it my CDN? This VueJS div of ID of div with an ID of app. You know what will happen? Let me just create a new project. Let me just create a new project. Let's just leave the previous things that was there. Let's start afresh. I think this will give us the
Sorry,
solution.
in the method.
You
In
said
the method, the view.create app, is this supposed to be capital letter or small letter?
the Vue.create app is supposed to be capital.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
it's supposed
Thank
to
you,
be
sir.
capital. It's supposed to be capital. Yes, capital letter Vue.create app. Yeah, I'm correct now. So I'm coming. Let me just no Apple. Let me just create a new stuff. Let's just start again. Remember, I was having an issue with that file before. So let me just create a new stuff. So let me go back to my terminal. I'll be quick with this. Okay. 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 So let me add it to my workspace. Add to that to workspace. Zuri view. Okay. So we're here. So let me create my index.html, right? Then my script.js. Um, sorry. Let me copy that CDN. I'm coming. Let me get that CDN. So, oh, I think I've seen the reason why it's not working. I think I've seen the reason why it's not working. I'm coming. Let me just try without hold on. Then, if it works, then I will tell you the reason why it's not working. This is it, right? So, I noticed that in that one I added this guy to the head. So, let me save and see. What's guessed? Okay, that's not the reason. So let's just continue with our new one. That was not the reason.
Sorry, I have a question. So
Okay,
yeah, I
yeah.
noticed that you are using head, body. So like this previous assignment they gave us, they used to like sometimes I see that they're using H1, H2, H3, that's header one, header two, then paragraph. So like well, this title head body is for what? Then this H1, H2, I know that it's header, paragraph, blah blah blah. Like
Okay,
can it
okay.
replace each other?
Let me
Can it
explain
replace each
now.
other or yeah?
Now let me explain. If you look at your HTML file, your HTML file has different tags. Like there are a lot of HTML elements. That's one thing you should know. Now there are some elements that how will I put it? When they are explaining HTML to you and all of those stuff, they won't talk about them because these are just like normal things you need to get. Remember, if you want to start an HTML project, you need an HTML tag, right? Is that not so? This is the root element of your project, right? Then inside of this HTML part, inside of this HTML file, you need what we call the title tag. Inside of this title tag, that is where things like your meta tag and all of those stuff will be. I don't know if you get my point.
Okay. Yeah, I
Then
get.
after this, you need a body tag. Inside the body tag, that's where your H1, your H2, and everything will now come in. You get. But what I'm using now, I'm using like a boilerplate in HTML. If you press Shift and one, press enter, it will give you all those things by default. You
Wait,
get.
wait, wait. Hold on. What did you do? Shift and one.
Yes, Shift and one. It will
Shift
give you all
and
of
one.
those stuff by default. Yeah.
Okay.
So that will give you everything by default. So let me paste this. I'm sorry. Let me copy this link again. I'm coming. Let me copy this VJS link again. Right. Then let me paste it over here. Mm. So let me paste it. Let me paste it here. Then let's start. Now, let's create a div. Are we following? A div with an ID of app. Now I will stop my what's it called? I will stop my live server. Then I want to go back to the browser, right? And close this thing I'm having here. Now we're starting a new one. So I want to close that one. So let's start. Now this is a div with an ID of app. Then I will create my script. Sorry, script with a source of script.js, right? Then now let me test this script if it's working. Let me do something like an alert. Let me say hello, right? Then I will open this, open with live server. So so it has opened. So our script has connected successfully. So let's go and do that VJS now. Now the first thing we'll do inside of this place, right? Let me be sure that my link is here. The first thing we'll do inside of there is to do something like this. I will say const app. That was what we did at first now, right? Const app equal to view dot create app. Is that not so? Sorry, this is not what I'm supposed to do. View dot create app, right? Then now let me just give a title. Let me do something like hello view, right? Or rather, no, let me give it data. And inside of this data, let me do something like return, right? I want to return the title of hello view, right? Then as usual again, I said I will mount this app.mount, right? Then a div with an ID of app. So let's see if it will work this time. So inside of this place, I will do something like double curly brackets title, right? So let's see if it will work. Can you see what's happening? Can you guys see what's happening?
Yes, yes.
Okay, you can see that it's working. So I don't know, maybe I tempered with something from that previous file and so on and so forth. So maybe that's why it didn't work. But we were correct all along, so I don't know. So let me go back and explain everything. It was the same thing I explained at first. You get. So first of all, this is my what's it called? This is my HTML file. Then this is the VueJS CDN link, right? Then this is my local JavaScript link. Then I created the div with an ID of app. Is that not so? Then after that, inside of my script.js, I created an app called const app equal to view the create app, right? Then I created the data. Then inside of that data, I returned a title, right? Then inside of this title, I'm having hello world. Then I'm mounting this guy. Remember, this is the connecting point between this JavaScript and this stuff, so that my VueJS variable can be shown in this file. You get? So I return the title of what's it called, of hello view. So that's what I'm getting over here. Now there's something I want to show you guys. I think there's a way. If I don't want to, what's it called, if I don't want to do this, I can just return something like this. I'm coming. I don't know why it's not working for me now. Just can't figure. Sorry. I can return something like this. I'll just return a template, right? Inside of this template, I can return each one, right? I will say hello world. So if I do this, I'm coming. Let me just comment this guy. Let me see what will happen. So if I do this, reload. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to comment that div with an ID of app. So if I do this, um, and save, time I go back. Can you see what I'm having? Please, if you are following, please let me know so that can you see what I'm having? Who they message my phone like this?
Yes, yes.
Please, okay, good. Now, okay, good. Thank you. Now let me explain something to you. Now, if you look at this, the difference between this and this, which is using this template and doing this div and ID of app and returning the data. Let me explain. Now, if you do something like this, it means that I can write my old template inside of this JavaScript file. You get? That's good. Like, it's very good, but it's not efficient. The reason is because this is just H1. Now, if you want to write HTML, the whole of your HTML file inside of JavaScript, it will be time consuming and you get tired. You get? So let's separate it. That's why we're not using this. You get? That's why I'm not using this. I just wanted to show you guys. That's why I'm not using that template. That's why I'm using this data. Now, what does this data signify? This data is a method I can use inside this video to create app method. Then anything I return, as a variable, I can cache it inside of this place. Now I'm not making use of what we call templating engine. So this is like the Vue templating engine. Whenever you want to return a variable, you must use double curly bracket. So I will follow in. Please, I need a response. Now, if for instance I want to create h1, you just to come back here and do something like this, h1, right? Then I will get this guy. If you notice, now this is more better because now I can apply proper styling and all of this stuff. So by the time I reload, you can see I'm getting this, right? So that's for that. Come here. Okay, so the next thing we'll do uh, is to now if you look at this variable, I can only catch this variable inside of this div with an ID of app. Now if I decide to do this variable outside, let me say I come up here and I do something like title, or I go downstairs over here, I do something like title, what sure will happen? By the time I come back, you see that it doesn't know how to pass this title. It's just giving me back what I give. Double curly braces, title, double curly braces, and title. You get? So in order for me to get the variable, it must be within the ID of app because that's the connecting point where I can inject my VJS code. I will follow it. Please, if you are following, say something. I will follow it. I don't think we are following.
My network is just very poor. I'm following.
You said? I can hear you clearly. Please come again. Come again. My network bad. Okay, let me just continue. You guys can get the recording later. So this is just the connection, like how I will set up a Vue.js project using the CDN, right? Like I said, this is what we are going to be looking at today and some other stuff. Now, if you notice what just happened, like I said, I just created the method and I did this. Now I can also do other things. I can do things like maybe I want to create I don't want to create just title. I want to create something like variable of name. Then inside this variable, I want to do something like God bless, right? Then I want to do something like let me see, age. I want to do something like 75, right? Now take note, an object is comma separated, so I've added the comma. So if I come back here, I can do something like you remember those normal concatenation you did when you just started learning JavaScript. So I can say my hello, my name is, then I'll put this name there. Why am I seeing this name? If you look, this name is gotten from the VueJS part, right? Which is the JavaScript name. You get, hello, my name is this, and I am age, right? Years old. So by the time I save and go back to my browser, can you see what I'm getting? I'm getting hello, my name is Godbless, and I'm 75 years old. Light don't show. And I'm 75 years old. So please take note of this. Take note of this. Thank you. So I believe we are clear with this now. So let's just say something so that we'll go back to the next subtopic. This is just the beginning part of it. Are we clear? You guys should say something. Oh, ah, but that, Jesus Christ. Okay, let me continue. Now let me bring up the PowerPoint slide. Or let me just show you some of that thing again before we go. Now, if you look at this, this is a data. This is like a general method I can use. I can create custom functions. You get? I can do something like say hello, right? Now, if I do this say hello, what can I return over here? Like I said, this is a custom function, right? Now, inside of this custom function, I can do something like greet. Eh? Now, this greet will do something like, sorry, it's a function, so I need to return. I need a return statement, right? Now, inside of this, I can do something like return greet, right? Now, I think I need to do small revision on OOP for you guys so that you guys can really understand it. Now, inside of this grid, what will I do? I can now do something like this dot name, right? You are supposed to remember OOP. Okay, I can now do something like this dot name, right? Then I will concatenate is, I will follow it plus this dot age, right? Then I will do something like this plus. Remember your normal JavaScript concatenation. Yes, old. So if I do this now, I can catch this CLO over there. By the time I come back to this place, instead of me to do all of this, there's no need. I can just call the CLO function. Let me just say h1, and I'll do something like CLO. So by the time I do this, uh, wait a minute. Okay, I said greet. Oh, sorry. I've already set it to a variable called greet. There's no need of saying CLO again. Ah, come in. CLO return. Oh, return. Uh, sorry, what's wrong? Uh, what's wrong? What's wrong? I can't really. I'm coming. Then she said, "Oh, okay. I console log this. Okay, I console log this. That's why. Okay, I can also display it on my browser. You get. So if I do something like this, I can um return this. Okay, let me attach this to an event. Or if I don't attach to an event, let me do something like this first. Let me do something like this. Console.log. Right? So let me do something like this and see before we go over to the next stuff. It's interesting. Console.log. Okay, let me just do this and save. Let's see what will happen. By the time I come back to my okay, let me see. Please, are we together? I need your response. Are we together? Yeah. I think I need to remove this one. It's confusing. Look for that first. Please, are we together? Please, I need a response. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Please, can you try to connect VJS? I was asking if I can show how I connected VJS again. Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay, what will happen is this. I will show the connection again, but let me just continue. Let's just leave that. Let's go over to the next stuff. I think we're supposed to do something on directive before I go over to that part. That is a method. And that method, let me show you something. If you look at this, this is a method. This, what's it called? This CLO is a method. And I can't just show it inside of an HTML file. Something needs to trigger it. I don't know if you get my point. So I will get to that part soon. Let me just do something. Let me show you something. If I come back to my PowerPoint slide, the next subtopic I'm having here is supposed to be Vue.js basic, which is the instance, template, syntax, which we've already been doing. Then directive. So let's talk about this directive. So let's go over to W2 score and talk about that directive. Now for Vue directives, what are directives? Vue directives are special HTML attributes that are prefixed with v hyphen. Now what it means is that if you remember your HTML, let me go back to my HTML file. If you remember your HTML, we say attributes, they give special meaning or function to an HTML element. Is that not so? Now if you look at this ID is an attribute. I will follow it. So that's an attribute. So let me show you something again. If I give a class, that's also an attribute. But now they're talking about directives. You say directives are like HTML attributes, and they normally start with v hyphen. So these are special attributes. Now, what do? There are some things that make them unique. They are not just attributes. Now, one of the important is that they combine with HTML attribute to do special things. So there are different kinds of this view directive. I have the vbind, I have the vif, I have the vshow, the v4, the von, the vmodel, right? Now let's talk about vbind first. I will say vbind connects an HTML attribute. So vbind connects an attribute in an HTML tag to a data, right, inside of a Vue.js instance. So please take note of that. Take note of that. Now let's say for instance, I come back to this place inside of my index.html, and I give a class. Let me see. This is a style, and I give a class of, let me see, what's it called? Let me see, style me, a class of style me. Now what sure will happen? Now inside this style me, I give it a color, which is a text color of red, uh, a background color of blue. Now what sure will happen? Now if you notice now, this time is not yet working. Let me show you. If you look at this thing, this time is not yet working. What's wrong? What's wrong? I'm coming. I don't know what's wrong. Let me uh what's it called? Script. This is correct. Um this is also correct. Oh, my live server just stopped. So I think that was the reason. So let me remove this one. I don't want to make use of that guy. I made a mistake there. So let me just remove that one. So if I come back here and I reload, remember I'm having this now. Hello, my name is God Bless and I am 75 years old. And don't forget, we are talking about the view directives, right? So the first one I want to talk about is vbind. Now, what is vbind used for? We say vbind connect an HTML attribute, right, to a data variable inside of a view instance. Is that not so? Now, what does that mean? Simply means I can go back to my stuff. Remember, they say data attribute. I can go back to my script, right? Inside of this data, let me comment this guy. We'll get to this guy soon. Inside of this data, huh? I can I can create something like what's it called? I can do something like style. Eh? Then inside of this style, I can call back that CSS style. The CSS style is style me, so I can do something like this. I want this to be style me, right? Now, what sure will happen? If I come back to my index.html, I can use the v directive called vbind. Are you following? Then I can bind this with an HTML class. You get? So inside of this class, I can now do something like this. What is this guy called over here in the VueJS? Is it not style me? So is it not style? So I can give this guy a style. So let me see what will happen by the time I do this. Can you see what I'm having? Notice that I'm now getting a blue background color, right? Then the color of red is not working. Let's see what's wrong. What's wrong? Oh, sorry, it's not working because I'm using a string over here. Remember, I'm not supposed to use a string. That's CSS. Can you see what's happening? So if you notice now, this is not like my usual stuff whereby I will do something like inline CSS. Let me say something like this. I will say something like h1, right? Now I'll do something like class equal to style me, right? So if I do this, remember it will work. Is that not so? But I'm using a view method to style it now. I know you might be wondering, why are we using this view method? Like, is it not too long? I'm doing something like vbind class and so on and so forth. Now, the reason for this is so that I can do dynamic styling later on. Are you following? It's so that I can do dynamic styling. That's the reason I'm using something like that. So maybe it will get to a stage whereby we want to do conditional styling, like something like, if this is this, show me a red color, yes, show me a blue color, and that's where that thing comes in handy. You get? So that's why you must learn this view method. If you look now, I'm using a v bind, and I'm binding a class attribute of style, right? Then after binding it, the style I apply is working. So we'll see this later on. Are you following? So the next thing we'll look at is the next directive we'll look at is the v if. Now, what is the v if used for? It's just like your JavaScript if statement. Remember, if statement is used to show something or something else, like conditionals. You get? They say this create HTML tag depending on condition, right? Now, directive vs if and vs are used together with this guy. Now, what do you mean by that? If I go back to my what's it called? If I go back to my JavaScript, I can do something like this. I can do something like is true, right? This is a boolean. Remember, it's true is a boolean. Now, inside of my HTML, I can now do something like this. I can now make use of v if. Now, let me just comment this code and do something like this. I will say h1. Hmm? I will say v if, right? Um, I will say v if um, is coming. I think I forgotten how to write. Let's look at the v if properly. Okay. I think I've recorded. So if I come here, all I need to do is just to say v if, right? Then the name of this attribute, what is it called? I said is true. Is that not so? So I'll say v if is true, right? I want to do something. What did I want to do? Let me do something like say hello, right? So let's go back and see what we're getting. If you notice now, we're getting say hello. Is that not so? But let's go back to our W2 school. There's something I want to show you. If you notice, they said the v if can also be used with other directives, such as what is it called? Such as the vs if and the vs. Now, what does that mean? It means that there are some cases whereby my if statement will not be true. Okay. Now, there are some cases whereby my if statement will not be true. You get? Now, what does that mean? Is if I come back to this JavaScript and I change this to something like false, what sure will happen? Watch. Oh. If I go back to my browser, you notice I'm not getting anything. You get the reason I'm not getting anything is because I'm having an if statement, but there is no else. This thing is just saying, okay, v if this is true, if my v if is true, say hello. You get, but if it's not true, I'm not considering that part. That's why I need something like again. You get, I'm not supposed to do something like vs, right? So vs now, if it's not true, say not true. Let me just do something like it's not true. So by the time I save, you notice that I'm getting not true, right? So please take note of this. So you notice that I'm getting this, right? Now there's something else I want to show you. Now this is just for the what's it called? This is just for if and else. Now there's also what we call else if. I don't know if you recall. Else if is that clause that is executed if the if statement is not correct. Remember from the JavaScript now. So I don't think there is an example I can use here. I think a perfect example would be to do something like this. A perfect example is to do something like an age, right? Now let me call this age 20. Now let me call this age 20. Now what did I want to do with this 20? Now see, I just want to do something complex. Remember not every time I will get something like this. So this is what I want to do. I can do something like this. H1, sorry. I can do something like this. H1, right? And I will say V if, right? Then I will say if age. Remember my variable there is age now. I will say if age is greater than 20, I want to do something. I'll do something like you are old enough. Right? So you can see that I'm doing normal JavaScript stuff. If you look, I'm not getting anything. But let me just say something like less than 20. Mm, I'm coming. If age is- Sorry. Mm. Oh, don't forget my age is greater than or equal to 20. That's why I'm getting something like that. Okay, fine. We are correct. So let me just do something like this. If age is 20. Okay, good. Can you see what we're getting? We're getting you are old enough. Now, if you notice on my variable, I did something like age 20, right? So if I come back to this place, now I want to check for conditionals. I don't want to just do something like this. If age is equal to 20, show me you are old enough. So that's why I'm getting this. Yep. Now, this is what I will do. I want to check for other conditions. So let me just duplicate this and duplicate it twice. So I'll do something like if age is greater than 20, show me you are old enough. Else, if, so I'll say VS if, right? Then I'll do something like VS. Now, under this place, now I don't want to do something like you are old enough. I'm almost. You are just the age. Let me do something like this. You are just the age. Then for the last one, I will say you are too young. So if I do this now, let's just go back and see something. If you notice at first, I have my data, then I'm returning age as 20, right? Still on the V if and VS if. So with this, I can execute multiple statements. So the first one is saying if age is greater than 20, say you are old enough, right? Now if you look, the age is 20, right? So that's why that one was not executed. So if I go to my else if now, right? If age is equal to 20, you adjust the age. That's why we're getting that. Then for VS, age, sorry, this should be less than 20. So if age is less than 20, you are too young. So take note of that. So if you notice something, I'm using. If you notice something, I'm using. If you notice, I'm using um, equal to for the second and the last one. But if you remember your JavaScript if statement, the if statement always executes the first correct one. You get? If you notice, the first correct one over here is the one upstairs, which is the VSE. So that's why it's executing that one first, right? So please take note of that. So I know you might be wondering why am I not having two of it. So that's why it's executing that one. So if I come back and do something like do something like less than, then over here now do something like come back here and change the age to, let me see, 18. Notice that I'm not getting I'm supposed to get you are too young, you are too young, I'm coming, what's wrong? VLs. Yeah, just the age. No, this is not what I'm supposed to get because my age is now less than 20. Age is 18. Okay. All these boys. So this is not what I'm supposed to get. I don't know why I'm getting something like I'm coming. Let me just check for the spellings. So I have V else if V else V else if V else V else if V else. So if age is greater than 20, you are old enough. Else if age is equal to 20, you are just the age. And this you are too young. I don't know where this area is coming from. Maybe we'll come to that later on. So that's for the if statement directive. We'll see more of it later on. Now, with this if statement, I can do what we call conditional rendering. You get? Let's say I want to render things like pictures and text and all of that. I can do more of that. So let's look at something else again from the directive. So let's look at visual. What does visual do? Now the visual is similar to the v if statement, but the thing is that visual only has a true element if something is true. You get? So please take note of that, take note of that, take note of that. So if I come back here, what's it called? If I come back here and comment these guys, right? I can do something like this. I will say h1, and I will say v show, right? Uh, what did I want to evaluate? What did I want to evaluate? Okay, let me just say age. Okay, no, I can't use age. I need something that's true or false. So let me use this guy. This show uh is true. Coming. This show is true. Let me say hello. So if I do this and let's see. Okay. Okay, the reason it's not showing, I think it's because I'm having false there. Right, so we're correct. So I need to change this to true. If I have a true, now you can see that it's showing. So please take note of this, take note of this, take note of this. So this for my V show. So V show only works when something is true, it will show, but if it's not true. So this one doesn't have S, it doesn't have an S clause like the V if statement. Now, what is the major difference between them? Like I said, this is one difference. One difference is that V if only show when it is true, the same with V show, but the thing is that V if has other accompanying statement like the VS, the VS if, and so on and so forth. You get, but V show is just V show. And again, V if tends to create the element, but V show tends to hide and show the element. You get, so even if this thing is false, okay, let me just show you something. If I come back here and I inspect my HTML page, you notice that um this is my div with an ID of app. You notice that I'm getting the hello word, right? So even if I change this place to false, right? If I change this place to false, you notice that this thing now, the style is now being changed to display of none. That's why it's not seen on the browser. But if I was using something like the VIF, let me change this to VIF. VIF creates and deletes the element automatically. So if I do something like this, VIF, right? and I do this, let me comment this one, the one for the visual. You notice that there's nothing on the HTML part of this guy. You get. But if I go back here and change this to what's it called, to true, notice that this guy has come back, and over here I'm getting this hello world, right? But for visual only hides and show the display. So please take note, it's just more of like this a CSS property kind of thing. So I think we're going to stop here for now. Okay, is there a question? Please, if you have a question, ask. At the point there was no participant, so I was kind of discouraged. So if you have a question, please ask. Let me just repeat all what we did, or let me just do a revision of all what we did. So if you have a question, please ask. Okay, I'm waiting. Okay, please say something. Just unmute your mic and say something.
Okay. Sorry, I wanted to ask the difference between computed properties and methods. Like, what's the difference between the two?
You're going to take computer properties and method. Okay, so I'm coming to that. So any other question?
It's sorry, I tried following. My network has been stopping, but I want to ask the V if we can use it with a button, like also with a button, like maybe to know if someone is and if someone is of a particular age to visit the website, right?
I can't hear you. Come again. Come again. Come again. You said computer properties and method, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, so let me take your questions first because that guy, I think he lost his network. So before he comes up, now in view, when we talk about the computer properties, like if you notice, there was something I did at first. The first thing I did was that I created the data. Then from this data, no, just follow me closely. From this data, the next thing I did was that I started calling the data inside of my HTML file, right? Then I tried to do that same thing by creating a separate function. Is that not so? Then if you notice, the people that were in the class, that then the thing didn't work. Like, and I said something. I said, oh, maybe I needed to call it first before it work. So get my point now. Maybe I needed to call it first before it work. So and I skipped that part. I said we'll do it. You get. Now when we talk about computed properties, these are functions that are, should I say inbuilt? I don't want to use the word inbuilt. These are functions that run directly when the page loads. Let me put it that way, when the app runs. If you look at all of these guys in this data now, they are example of computed property. I don't need to call them before they work. I don't know if you get my point. But for a method needs to be called. So this function I was about to create before, this was supposed to be a method that I needed to call it before it will work. I don't know if you get my point. So computed properties, they run immediately the page reloads, or immediately the page runs or renders. Why for method I need to create them. Remember, the same thing also applies with your, what's it called, with your OOP. Remember, for an OOP, now let me just show you an example. For OOP, JavaScript object oriented programming, like I said, you need to create a class or a function, any of them, right? Let me say I'm creating a class person. Do I Can I remember the what's it called? The I don't know if I can remember the function, the class method of OOP, but I know I can remember the function very well. So, but let me just try. I think you have something like constructor, right? Then inside of this constructor, you define the attributes you want to use. Is that not so?
Yeah, 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 yes.
Then you define the method you want to maybe name this, right? Then you now start giving them this thing. You now say this dot name. Okay, I think it's working. Let me just be going. Get, it's been long I wrote JavaScript. Let me say name age. Let me just use name and age. And I'll say this dot name, right? Equal to what's it called? What it called? Let me say God bless. And I'll say this dot age. Sorry, this dot age equal to 20. No, I won't put my age. I'm 75 years. So now, if you notice this, why is it doing like this? If you notice this now, just compare this and this. You can see that they are similar, right? Maybe tomorrow when we talk about the art directive, you see something about this guy. Now, if I run this, this thing is already here, it's already assigned. So this is, if you want to compare now, you can call this a computed property in terms of view. You get anything inside this data, and those things are rendered automatically. But now we're not talking about a method, we're not talking about a separate function that I can create. So I can decide to come here, I will create a greet method. And I'll say this greet method should take something like this dot. Sorry. And I'll say it should take something like this dot. It's now using some of the properties I have upstairs from the constructor. I don't know if you get my point. So on and so forth. So I don't want to go into that whole pit thing. You get the time is already up. So that's just for that. So computer
Sorry, computer properties, methods are like a function.
Yeah,
I
methods
don't
are
know.
function. Methods are function. So those are that separate function, those custom functions you create. So those are like the what's it called? Those are the method we have there. Are you following?
Okay, okay, all right.
So they run when you call them from an HTML. So let me just demonstrate this guy. Now let me just demonstrate this one. I think I need to demonstrate it. Now because we are still on directives, right? Because I said when we get to directives, I will explain that guy. You get so let me just come back. Let me come back. So if I come back to this place, remember don't forget, I don't know if you can still follow me. Let me create a button. Those people that were here earlier, I think they will follow. Let me create a button. Now inside this button, I want to say click me, right? Now if I come back to my browser, I'm having a click me button there. What's it called? Click me. I want to expand this guy, right? Now if I click on this button, it's doing nothing, right? Now I can now bind this to a view directive, right? So if I come back here, I
Yeah,
can bind a view directive. I can say click for me now. So I'll say v dash on, right? And I will now call
yeah.
click. You get equal to I will now call the CLO function. Is this CLO will call this? Let's just see sha. If it didn't work, you will get our mistake. Okay, CLO. So let's see. By the time I
Okay.
click, uh why am I having
Shit.
an error? CLO is not a function at on click. I'm coming. CLO. Oh, sorry. This guy is kind of data CLO. Coming. Button V dash on click CLO. Okay, let me see. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? I don't know what's happening today. Today I'm just making mistakes.
I thought like
You
um
said
like I don't know. I've been trying it out for myself a little bit, like small, little practice. I normally define methods, then I call the function inside.
you normally do what?
Define methods, then I call the function inside.
Okay, you call the function inside. I'm coming. I'm coming. Let me just see. Let me click. It's not a function. Okay, let's see. Let's put it inside of. Let's put it inside the. But if I put it inside the data, it won't work. The reason why it won't work is because this data already has a return statement. Are you following? It already has a return
Yeah.
statement. So
Not
anything outside,
not inside the
anything.
data, outside the data. Outside the data.
Okay. Oh, sorry. This is outside the data. This is outside the data. You get like this is the data block, and this is outside of the data. Hmm? So when I click, it's supposed to work. Let me see. On handle error execution, event handler app. What's wrong? What's wrong? Animals 19. CL is not a function. Click. Complete session. I'm coming. Let me just read through something over here. So just hold on a bit. Let me just read through something over here. Sometimes you tend to okay, let me see. Data light or no, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a separate function. Like when I create a separate function. Okay. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm coming. Let me just add something. I think I've practiced with this before. Just hold on a bit. What's wrong? I'm coming. Let me just make this thing full screen. Out of that to workspace. Um, okay, console log. I'm sorry. I'm supposed to call it method. So I've seen my
That's
mistake.
what
I'm
I
supposed
was
to.
trying to say, that I should call the
Oh,
method
okay,
first.
yeah, yeah. I'm supposed to call it method. I'm supposed to call the method first, right? So this is where all my methods will now go.
Uh,
It's supposed to be an object. Is that not so?
it's an object, an object.
Yeah, it's an object. So these are supposed to be. Um, so good. This is it. So by the time I come back and call it, what is it? Let me call it over here. Someone that is saying is not defined. By the time I click, um, undefined. Well, so make sure to use the production. What is this now? Methods. Method CLO. Then console log V on click CLO. Okay, let me not invoke it. Let me just leave it on now without invoking. I'll tell you the implication of invoking. Let me see. Undefined. Okay, I'm getting undefined is undefined years old, right? So it's working now. But before that, I want to try something again. Let me just be clear on something. Hmm? Let me leave this guy. I want to be sure of the error I'm getting. No, reading errors is one way of being a good programmer. Okay, undefined. So it's also working. So let's go back. So let me show you. Let's debug. Let's see where this guy is coming from. So if I go back to my script, right? Oh, the reason is not working, or the reason is showing undefined because I commented these guys. Are you guys following?
Yeah, 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 yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. So please take note of it. So on our next class now, I don't expect us to be making this mistake. Like me myself, you get. Hmm. So if I reload, where I am is kind of noisy. I had to, run out and all of this stuff. So they've kind of, how will I put it? That discouraged me, but I just want to continue with the class. I don't want us to skip. You get. So a little effort teach the ass up. So when I click now, you can see. So that's just it. So like your question, we said method, right? These are separate functions we
Yes.
can create later on. But if you look at something now, this is just like when you are doing object oriented programming. If you look now, I'm
Yeah, yeah,
inheriting,
yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm making use of that function. This dot the name.
Inheriting the data. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any other question?
That's all. That was just what was confusing me.
Okay,
Method
that's
and
all.
because they look
Okay.
like they almost do the same thing.
Okay, now if you take note, if you notice, there are other things we can do. Hope you know, like not just rendering this function alone. Like I can do something like when I click on it, I don't want to do on console log. I want to maybe return something or change something or do something. I don't know if you get my point. So maybe tomorrow we'll
Yes.
look at those stuff, like things that will appear on the DOM, not like on my console.
Are we
Because
going to build an environment with Vite? I think that ought to be better. I don't know.
yes, like what I'm doing now, we're trying to learn the how will I put it, the basics of Vue.js, like those simple things, directives, method, and all of those stuff. After this week's class, which is from tomorrow class, now we'll make a project using all of this stuff we are learning. You get, we make a project
Okay.
whereby we'll fetch from an API, then try to manipulate it using Vue.js. You get, then from next week we'll now go into the Vue CLI, which is that Python you are talking about. Maybe I will create
Yeah.
after learning about everything, the routing and everything, we'll now create a project. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah.
So for
Yeah.
now, this is your assignment. For now, this is your assignment. Just go back to the intro. You get, read the intro, the directives, vbind, visual. Just go through. In fact, read up to this template. I don't know if you get my point, because there are some things I want to do. I will say, okay, fine, you guys have not done that. Let me just skip it and so on and so forth. So just read ahead so that when I say something, it will be helpful. And if you still have the time, read object oriented
Yeah.
programming. You get, because object
Okay.
oriented programming is just simply what we are doing, like inheriting from this, taking from the global object, this dot that. So some are similar. Just read it if you have the time. So is there any other question
Okay.
before we go?
That's all.
Okay, no other question. I
Thank
think
you very
someone wants to
much.
ask a question. So I think you wanted to ask a question about okay, since there's no question, you guys can get the recording. You can also send a message on Slack. I will reply. You get.
Okay.
So, all right now.
Sorry,
Thank
what's
you
the name
very
of
much.
Slack?
You said?
What's the name of Slack? Mm,
Okay, my name AJOG Firma. This is my name.
okay. Okay.
Okay. All right now, so
Thank
you
you
can
very
send the
much.
text. Just go through. Even if it's text on OOP, you can also send so that we just assist you. Then when we come again, it won't be difficult. Don't worry, when we get to the main view CLI, it won't be difficult because everything is already. How will I put it? Everything has been set for us
Okay,
already. Just to go there, continue. You know how frameworks are now. The structure has already been
yeah.
created. You just need to go there, follow the pattern, finish. You get. So this is just like the basics. Even me, I'm kind of finding it difficult to navigate my way, but anyhow, by tomorrow, shall we continue? We'll build a mini project with this. Then I'll give an
Okay.
assignment.
Thank you very
All
much.
right. Okay, now take care, guys. All right.